Let's see. I'll try to check real quick. It went out at 10 a.m.
What happened there?
With me? Went out at 10.
I didn't get it.
Check again. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Glad to see you here. Thank you. Glad to see everyone here and wanting to remind you that there is what we call an infinite source that's available to everyone. It's there for each who seek it, no matter their race, gender, or religion. You can believe what you may, but you should know that the source of the universe is also the source of each of us. Therefore, the principle supporting the stars is the principle supporting and available to each of us. As I declare this statement in the first person, I do declare it for all. I am open and receptive to this divine living principle. Father, Mother God, I am grateful. This is my declaration. This is my truth. And as I accept it, so it becomes. And all is well and well indeed. The dynamics of attention. Good day. I'm Reverend R. Ken, Senior Minister of Unity of Chicago South. Welcome to Practical Spiritual Living, a part of the Sunday experience that is brought to you by Unity of Chicago South, a Beyond Walls New Thought spiritual community that streams live from Chicago every week. And we invite you to be a part of the Sunday experience. And you can do so by just texting the word Sunday to 564 234 2890. Simple. Where intention leads, attention follows. Last week, we began exploring the dynamics of intention. We discovered that intention is more than wishing, it is more than hoping, it is more than setting a goal. Intention is a conscious decision about the direction from which we choose to live. Today, we take the next step. Intention directs attention. And where attention consistently rests, our thoughts, emotions, choices, and actions begin to follow. Intention is like the compass. Imagine setting out on a journey. Before you can choose the road, you must do what? Choose the destination. That is intention. Attention is the road you travel every day. The writers of Proverbs understood something we're exploring today. As Proverbs 44:25 reads, let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. Keep straight the path of your feet and all your ways will be sure. Do not swerve to the left or to the right. Turn your feet away from evil. In other words, where we choose to look influences where we ultimately walk. You know, many of us say that we want peace, especially in the times that we're in right now, on June 28, 2026. Yet our attention lives in anxiety. Well, we say we want healing, yet our attention remains fixed on the wound. We say we want abundance, yet our attention rehearses lack. Just pause there for a moment. We want prosperity, we want abundance, but our attention is on the lack in our lives. You see, the issue is not sincerity, the issue is direction. Because what attention does, it reveals what our intentions are. William James observed, my experience is what I agree to, attend to. My experience is what I agree to, attend to. What I agree to, My intentions go to what I agree. Attentions reveal what has become important. I, I tend to. That's important to me. It reveals what has captured our imagination. It reveals the direction of our lives, the direction that our lives are quietly taking. The question is not what has my attention. There's a deeper question that exists, and that deeper question is what intention is directing my attention? Just pause. What intention is directing my attention? Woe is me. That means my intention is to be woe. And then my attention then finds all the woeness in my life. Listen to the words that we speak. Listen to your words. What are they saying to you? What are they saying to your inner being, your inner house, your consciousness? Charles Fillmore taught that thought is formative. Talking about that inner life, our inner life continually participates in shaping our outer experience. Stop right there. My inner life participates in shaping my outer experience. Maybe there is some incongruency going on between my intention, what I say, and what transpires in my life. A practitioner of one of the earliest branches of New Thought, divine science, her name was Nona Brooks, and she's often credited for teaching that the kingdom of heaven is a state of consciousness. The kingdom of heaven is a state of consciousness. If the kingdom is a state of consciousness, then intention becomes the doorway into that consciousness, a doorway that we cultivate through where we choose to put our attention. In the Dhammapada, it begins with these words. We are what we think. We are what we think, not what we say, not what we appear to be. We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. Different traditions, same invitation. Choose consciously, live intentionally. Howard Thurman gives us a marvelous prayer. Listen. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. High resolve. It reminds us that our deepest intentions can be buried beneath the daily distractions, disappointments, and demands of the life experience. So how do we balance? How do we come back to our highest intention? It is our spiritual practice that invites us to return again and again to what we know to be true.
So what do we know to be true, Reverend? Well, in our practice, we know that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. That's the truth that we have. Now others claim a different truth. But remember, our practice continually takes us back to the truth that we have, strengthening it, right? And almost forcing us to live from that truth. And if that truth does not serve us, maybe we should examine that truth. You see, because in our practice, intention is renewed every time we remember our highest resolve, our highest determination, our highest resolution, our highest tendency. The poet Mary Arthur Olive writes this: tell me what it is you plan to do with your one wild and precious life. Mary Oliver, tell me what you plan to do with your one precious life. Now that is not merely a poetic question, it is a spiritual question. And every day we answer it, not only by what we say, but by where we place our attention. Practical spiritual living, that's what this is all about. It's not words that we read and we philosophize over. It's words that we take and bring inside of us and allow them to take us to our highest human experience. So this week, how can we practice? Start just paying attention. Where is my attention? Being aware of where is my attention. Start becoming even more aware of where is my attention. Is it over here on this and I say I don't want it? Is it over here on this and I say I don't want it? Is it not on this and I say I do want it? I need to know what I'm doing here. I say when you wake up tomorrow morning, before reaching for your phone, just pause and set an intention. Maybe one like, today I intend to be fully present. That's it. Or today I intend to become an instrument of peace. That's it, one thing. Or even maybe today I intend to recognize the good wherever I encounter it. And after you set your intention for the day, allow your attention to follow that intention throughout the day. Where intention leads, attention follows. Intention sets the direction, attention walks the path. Where attention remains, the energies of our lives began to come together. And what we repeatedly nurture eventually seeks expression through us. Let's stop for a moment. What we nurture, give attention to, seeks to express through us. It didn't say all the good stuff that we nurture wants to grow in our lives and become manifest. Didn't say that. Said, whatever we nurture. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm nurturing. I'll never get better. Nurturing. I'll never have. I'm nurturing. I want to be nurturing. I am that. No matter what it looks like, I am that. And we nurture that, and that must also, it also seeks to express, and it will, through us. Through us. Now, as you know, what we like to do here is pose a question that you can discuss. You can put stuff in the chat and things of that nature. And today, I want to pose a question to you. And I'm going to put that up for you. There. Can you think of a time when a clear intention changed what you noticed or how you responded throughout the day? What is that? Can you give me an example, Ralph? Can you think of a time when a clear intention changed what you noticed? The one that's so simple. Oh, I'll use another one actually. Decide to see the beauty on the same route that you ride every day, whether it's you're driving or you're on transportation, public transit or whatever, or you're walking from your car to your place of employment, school, whatever it might be. And just decide, I think it's going to be a beautiful day today. Yeah, I decided it's going to be I intend to enjoy the beauty of this day. And you'll see all of a sudden, I never saw that flower before. Boy, look at that massive tree. I didn't realize how much shade it gives. You see, it doesn't have to be something phenomenal. It's not necessary. It can be small, but to test yourself to see what my intention, when I place it, it changes things because it changes where the attention must go. It must follow. That attention must follow what course, what path, what compass I set. And then it must find me those beautiful things, even if they're there and I've never noticed them before. Yeah. Wow. And then another one, our last question, of course. What intention do you want directing your life? What intention do you want directing your life? Let me explain here. Let me explain to you. You can set the compass of your life, that intention. You can decide right now the intention that you want in your life. Right now. You can do it tonight before you go to bed, in the morning when you wake up, and right now too. And whatever that intention is, understand by the nature of the relationship between intention and attention must go out and find those things for you, even if they've always been there and you just have never seen them before. So take the big leap, bring forth your courage and set an intention. And just watch what happens. And the only thing you do, what is the second part of this, practical habits, is just decide, I'm going to stay focused on this intention for this day, for this hour, for this week, whatever works with you. And you'll find that your commitment, wow. So those are questions that you can discuss among yourselves if you're on some of the other social medias. that you're joining us. And I say to you again that it's a wonderful experience when you come on over to our platform, because we do what we can do there, and that's what we can do is the discussion, because that's what this is all about. The Sunday experience is about interacting. Yeah, there's some teaching, and there's some scripture, and there's some spiritual food. But what is better than sharing a meal together? The Sunday experience. So come over. We'll let you know how you can do that a little later. I started out letting folks know what they can do. You can text Sunday to that number, 564-234-2890. The number will come up later. And be a part of this Sunday experience. Be where we are. And another thing that we do here is we leave each week with what we call a soul inquiry. A soul inquiry means that it's a question that you ask yourself and you wait for an answer. It may be right away, it may be a day, it may be a week, but you allow that which is within you to answer. Today, as we prepare to close, I invite you to this week's soul inquiry. Let's take a nice, clear, cleansing, clear breath. Just cleanse it, clear out all thoughts for a moment. I'm not trying to meditate, just coming down so you can allow this soul inquiry to enter. What intention is quietly directing my life now, today, this moment, the past? Don't try to answer it. Don't analyze it. Don't write it down. Don't get your pad out. Oh, I got it. Just ask yourself this question and leave it alone. And if you're brave enough, if you're bold enough, you have a second question that you can ask yourself. If I intentionally gave my attention to what I most want to grow, what would I begin noticing different this week? We talked about I intend to have a positive day. And all of a sudden, my attention moves me into things that have always been there, a flower that's over there by itself, the tree that gives shade. And then pause. Don't try to answer it. You see, what happens is that the mind naturally seeks answers to the questions that we ask. So I say to you, carry these questions with you, carry one or both with you this week, and just notice what shifts. Notice what comes alive. Thank you so much for being here today with us. But before we leave, I'd like us to calm ourselves, and I want to leave you with this closing prayer. Let's just center ourselves. Let as many of the thoughts of yesterday pass that we can, and be fresh into this moment. Divine Presence, thank you for the gift of conscious intention. Help us become aware of the directions we are choosing, many times without even recognizing it. May our intentions arise from wisdom. May our attention rest upon that which brings life, hope, healing, and peace. Guide us to move beyond reaction and into purposeful living. May our thoughts and our words and our actions become expressions of the highest intention within us. And may we talk this week with open hearts, clear minds, and willing spirits. And so it is. Thank you. Amen. After a short break, the Sunday experience continues with Sunday conversation. Now, whatever platform you may be on, we invite you to join us on Team and add your energy to the conversation. Again, text Sunday, and let me put that up for you. Text Sunday at 564 234 Let's get that in front of you. It's up, but you can't see it because it's behind me. We don't want it behind me. We want it in front of me. There we go. The Sunday experience, alerts and reminders. Just text Sunday to 564 234 2890 and receive your personal link. Now, we will return to the Sunday experience with Sunday conversations after a short break. And that's for those of you that can stay. For those of you that must go on, thank you for being with us today. And namaste.
Okay. I'm excited about being back for Sunday Conversations. And you know, we've been dealing with practical spiritual healing over the weeks with Sunday Conversation. And this is week number 5. And some of us are so excited to get to Neville Goddard. Healing through the power of assumption. And those of you that stayed with us, welcome. Welcome back. You know, over the past several weeks, we've explored healing through the teachings of life. Now, what each teacher has done, what each practitioner has done, is offered a very unique perspective on spiritual healing. Today, we turn our attention to one of the more distinctive voices in the New Thought movement, Neville Goddard. Now, Neville challenged people to think differently about consciousness. He suggested that healing begins long before circumstances change. He says it begins with the assumptions we carry about ourselves, our lives, and what is possible. But the question becomes, what did Neville mean by assumption? You see, when many people hear the word assumption, they think of guessing, Guessing. But Neville meant something quite different. He spoke of assumption as choosing to live from the consciousness of the desired good that we want in our lives, the health, the prosperity, the relationships, the success, before the evidence appears. Or in other words, before the manifestation, living in it before it comes to be. One of his best known statements is assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. How would I feel healthy? How would I feel if I was able to jump, run, and how would I feel if I could travel? How would I feel if my bank account? How would I feel if I was how would I feel? And go into that feeling, disregarding whether it's there or not, the thing, but grab the feeling. And there's a reason for that. But understand, he's not saying deny the present circumstances. And people say, well, that's some of that. Oh, wow. Let me tell you how practical it is. Unfortunately, in this country, the proportion of African Americans, minorities incarcerated is much greater than their presence in the country. In other words, they have a smaller percentage of being citizens, being members of society than they do than relative to how many of us are incarcerated. Okay. So a person that's incarcerated has very limited opportunity to be free. They may be able to go out to the yard, but they have very limited opportunity to be free. That's their present circumstance. But there are many that have turned their life around while incarcerated because they chose not to live in the incarceration, but in the
situation they wanted. They chose to live there, even though they were incarcerated. And you say, well, why do you bring this up, Reverend? And I say to you that if you're not incarcerated in bars, maybe you're incarcerated by your consciousness or something else. And it works the same way for you, because if they can, without freedom, project themselves into what it is they want, become that thing. What Neville is asking us is that what kind of consciousness do I want to live from? And of course, what kind of consciousness am I living from right now? Am I living from an incarcerated consciousness? Am I living from fear or from trust, from limitation or possibilities? Healing begins within. Change begins within. You know, throughout this series, we've returned again and again to this one central idea. Healing begins within. Charles Fillmore calls us to awaken our spiritual faculties. Ernest Holmes reminds us that consciousness is creative. Emma Curtis Hopkins invites us to recognize the Christ presence within. And Emmett Fox encouraged us to move our attention from the problem to the presence of the source, of the creator that is within us. And Neville takes another step. He asked us to begin living from the consciousness of the wholeness before our outer circumstances reflected. Live from the consciousness of the wholeness before the outer circumstances express it. I know someone who said that we're looking for a relationship and they just wanted to figure out I just want this. I want one. And one of the things they would do is to bring forth the presence of a partner. They would go around the house and spray their favorite perfume, their favorite cologne, to raise their consciousness to this is what it would be like if. Living from that consciousness. Living from that consciousness. You said, Rev, why are you grinding this out? And I'll tell you, when you come into this practice, this new thought practice, you often hear, fake it till you make it. Look like a winner and you'll be a winner. You hear these things and they are true, they are accurate, but there's a caveat. If you think it's just about changing how you look, how you dress, you might just find yourself not happy with the results. I'll say it that way. You say, well, why? What have we been talking about? The change comes from within, the healing comes from within. It's about consciousness. So if we don't change consciousness, it's going to be very hard to hold on to whatever it is we think we've created. Well, I've created some success because I look good. I walked in, I told the people I was going to be this, and here I am. I'm now the manager of the thing, but my consciousness is still back when I was sweeping the floor. If I don't bring that consciousness forward into being the manager, I'm going to be back sweeping floors somewhere. Neville often interprets scripture symbolically rather than historically. We say metaphysically. He really dealt with the symbols. He believed that the Bible describes the unfolding of the human consciousness, just as Fillmore says that the Bible is the story of the human soul unfolding. And one verse he frequently emphasized, this is Neville again, it's from the Gospel of Mark. He said, whatever ye asked in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. This is about a change in consciousness. Now, sometimes we're taught that we're praying to a source, a God, a divine, that's going to give us this thing. And sometimes it happens. And I can't say that's bad or good, because it happens sometimes, and we believe that God answered. But the teachings say that if I interpret this differently, whatever you ask for in prayer, and what is prayer? Bringing your consciousness in line, bringing your thoughts in line, bringing your Christ consciousness forward in unity. And then once you've done that, believe you got it. That's kind of like let go and let God, isn't it? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Now, for Neville, this was not at all about persuading God. Not at all. It was about aligning, as I mentioned, aligning our consciousness with the reality, with what we want to express. I want my consciousness aligned with that wonderful management in that beautiful house, that lovely partner, that fantastic vehicle, whatever it is. But understand, what Neville was known for this, it wasn't unique to Neville. The Hebrew wisdom tradition tells us this, that as a person thinks in their heart, so are they. We understand that heart means their feelings, not their love feelings, their feelings, the vibrations. As they think there, so are they. The Buddha teaches that our lives arise from the quality of our thoughts. And modern psychology speaks about expectations, perception, and the influence of the mindset on behavior. Different traditions, different languages, yet all point to the same important idea, belief, concept of inner consciousness. Note that healing is not pretending. That's not what we teach, even though sometimes it sounds like that's what we teach. And Neville was misunderstood for the same reason. No, we don't simply ignore pain or pretend that problems don't exist. That's not what healing is. Healing does not deny our experience. What healing does do, it asks whether we are willing to let our deepest identity be determined by spirit rather than circumstance. Let go and let God. Healing is choosing to remember that appearances are not always the final truth. Now, perhaps Neville's greatest contribution is not per se a technique. Perhaps it is a question. If I already believe that divine wholeness was present within me, if I already believe that divine presence was in me, within me, how would I really think? How would I really pray out there or in here? how would I live? The divine presence is within me. How would I treat myself? Understand that healing begins when those answers begin shaping our daily life. So now, this is called Sunday Conversation. And if you were on the platform, you could ask, those people that are on the platform can ask or put in the chat their response to today's questions. What do you think Neville meant by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled? What do you think he meant by that? Well, Rev, what do you think he meant by that? I think I touched on it a little earlier, but it's so important that we can touch on it again. If I am sweeping the floors as an entry-level employee, but I want to be manager or owner, then I want to start thinking manager, owner. It doesn't stop me from being in the situation that I'm in as the floor sweeper, but it changes my consciousness and gives me room to grow into being the manager, being the owner. Maybe not of this, as we like to say, or not this or something better. It doesn't always work right in order. So what does that mean? Success doesn't mean it's going to be success here. It might have to be success over there. But with the change in consciousness, success becomes the goal. Success becomes the focus. That's a change in consciousness. Now, if I'm sweeping in the back, okay, and I'm saying one day, I'm not going to be sweeping this floor. One day, I'm not going to be sweeping this floor. But I don't do anything about it. You say, well, what does that mean? Well, you see, if I change consciousness and say owner, manager, success, there are things that are going to come to my attention as we talked in our first segment. I might read, I might listen to different things, I might go different places. And these things all contribute to my success consciousness. But when I'm just there wishing, I just keep wishing. Yeah, I wish. In fact, an opportunity might come forth and I'll miss it because I'm in a funky consciousness. Has that ever happened to you? Now, a bigger question might be, how can we cultivate this consciousness of wholeness while honestly acknowledging life's challenge? This is where I am today. This does not determine where I'm going to be tomorrow. This is where I am today. Yes, I am. I'm the floor sweeper. Got you. But this is not where I'm going to be tomorrow. No. Well, why do you think that? Well, I'm doing something about it. And as I do these things, my consciousness is developing and growing into what it is that I say I want. I'm in a class. Someone says, hey, how you doing? What do you do? And I say, well, right now, I'm the best floor sweeper in my company. Soon, I'm going to be a manager. And I'm not saying those are the exact words, but you can get the drift of the consciousness, you see. Yes, this is what I'm doing right now. This is not who I am. And for those of you that have been traveling with us, I wonder what you think of Neville's idea compared to some of the Fillmore, Holmes, Emma Curtis Hopkins, Emmett Fox. How do you see a parallel? Do you see anything connected? And again, we invite you to text Sunday in so you can be a part of this conversation, because that's important, because it's called what? Sunday conversation. And that's what? Part of the Sunday experience, right? Part of the Sunday experience. We've come to the end. I'm going to put that number up again for you guys that are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. But as we prepare to close, I want you to remember that each teacher we've studied has invited us to the same essential journey to move from fear to faith, from reaction to awareness, from appearances to deeper truth. Neville reminds us that healing may begin the moment we become willing to inhabit a different consciousness. Wow. Wow. Next week, we'll conclude our exploration of practical spiritual healing with the quiet yet very profound teachings of Joel Goldsmith and the practice of healing through spiritual awareness. The Sunday Conversation appreciates you joining us online and would like to extend an invitation to join the conversation we hold each week. As you can see, you can text Sunday to the number on the screen, 564-234-2890 at any time. And you will receive a of Unity of Chicago South, spiritual community and family, saying blessings and bliss.